So I want to take some time to talk about Fallout 3. This is one of my most played games ever. I played it back on the 360 when it first came out, and I got hooked on it, collecting all the bobbleheads, getting the perks, and then just going through the wasteland like indefinitely. Just going all over the place and getting lost in the ambiance and the vibe of the environment. So it's a Bethesda game. I think it was released around 2009. I didn't really check it out, but I know that I played this game so much. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, like button, leave a comment, please and thank you. The combat is super fun. The VAT system and the first-person shooter slash third-person camera angle that you can swap between, when you get really comfortable with all of the aspects of that, being able to go into VATS or choose when to use VATS or not, and then being aware of the meter that you have to do all the shots, and then getting upgrades that allow you to extend that meter, or if you kill an enemy, it'll fully recharge. So like planning that out and becoming like a strategic master of the elements of the combat system in this game makes you feel like a G, like a god, man. So in the beginning, you kind of just get wiped out quickly, but as you progress, there's a huge sense of increase in power. So the combat is amazing, and you can choose whether you want to treat it like a first-person shooter or if you want to treat it more like a strategy RPG combat system, like a turn-based almost. So the VAT system is a way to slow down time and choose where you want to aim and what you want to aim at on a given character or enemy. And it just adds a layer of like absurdity after a while, where it's like you can pick off their legs and you can shoot off their heads and you can do all this funny stuff. And as you get more powerful, you get more accurate, you get more abilities that increase the damage that you do to certain enemies, certain types of enemies, because there's a variety of enemies in this game, and they range from robots to just wastelanders to mutants, and there's various kinds of mutants, and there's various kinds of robots, and there's various kinds of mutated animals, mole rats, rad scorpions. Then there's like the mutated human beings that were genetically modified during the Fallout period when they were in the Fallout shelters, the vaults. This game is a Bethesda game, first and foremost, so it allows you to kind of save whenever and load whenever. So if you want to see different options, you can save scum in this game and just kind of load it up real quick. Or like if you want to kind of conserve ammo and kind of master that environment, it's basically save states. You just like create one and then you go in the room and then you see how it turns out, and you can just load it back up if you want. Like, I'm sure people frown upon that or think that it's scummy, but like, you can play the game however you want it. You don't have to. You should be saving often simply because it's a Bethesda game and an older Bethesda game, and it's buggy. So the chances of it kind of crashing at some point, or you reaching a point where you can't go back without having to load a further save, like you might lose some progress because of the way that the game saves and the way that the game actually is. So saving becomes a part of the character of the game. Like the menu screens and the way that you can utilize saving and loading and going back and like trying an option, a dialogue option a couple different times, or trying to lockpick a couple different times, or trying to get a computer hacked a couple different times, like in order to, it makes you feel like it's almost a meta where you're in it and then you can kind of load it back, and it feels like it's a part of the game actually after a while when you get comfortable with it. And it adds charm and character to it, and I just get kind of happy when I start playing it. I'm like, oh yeah, well I can just save it and then try it out and see how this person reacts to my options and then load it back up. So the leveling in this game is really rewarding. There are some perks that are stinkers that you just don't ever want to get, but there are some perks that truly make you overpowered and just like invincible at certain aspects and against certain enemies, or like just super powered at killing a specific type of enemy. And so just having fun figuring out what kind of build you're gonna make throughout the game, and then choosing the skill points and the attributes that you want in order to get that type of build. It's really fun. It's really engaging, and I'm not really a big RPG fan, but this game, when the Fallout show came out, I was like, well, you know, they put all the games on sale on Steam, and I really don't have much Steam games, many Steam games on my Steam Deck, so I just kind of got that. It was like $4. It's like, oh, okay. I have Fallout 3, the game that I played the most back in 2009, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was released in 2009. But the perks, along with the leveling up and the attributes that you get to pick, and then the point distribution through like the small guns, the science, and all that stuff feels so rewarding. Every time you level up, it's a treat. It's like, dang, I have so many options now where I can allocate everything. And this playthrough that I did, that I'm showing the gameplay for, I was really excited because I wanted to kind of max out everything. So I just kind of like slowly balanced everything out, and then I went and found a bunch of books to try to like get them all maxed out without actually just using the points through leveling up. The bobbleheads, I've mentioned them a couple times, but the bobbleheads are super rewarding to collect. So it's like permanently adds either 10 points to one of your stats, or 1 point to permanently upgrade your special. And those come in handy. Real handy. They add serious stats to your character. So the Wasteland, I love the Wasteland. I love how spread out it is. I love how everything kind of draws you into specific areas. And it's feels like it's all meant for you to be like using the rocks as cover, or like at any moment it feels like you could just get into like a battle with somebody, or some animal that'll creep up on you, or some like, it makes you want to fill out the map. It makes you want to go to those places. So as you walk around, you see the things off on your compass where it's like, okay, there's the little triangles that aren't filled in yet that I could go see. And they're spread out enough where it's like, you're not going to be able to get multiple ones by going in the one direction. So I just feel like I was just following the compass and not really the map at all, and just looking and like trying to go to those places. And every time you go to a place, there's something going on. There's loot to collect. And part of the fun of this game is figuring out which loot you want. Because after trial and error of playing, it's like, well, this stuff is just straight garbage, but like I keep picking it up because I think it sounds cool or something. But after a while, it's like, you don't need to pick up really that much once you get real far in the game. It's just, the Wasteland is addicting to survey and uncover the secrets and go out, and it's not too big either. So you go out and you can get to places relatively quick with a couple minutes. You can get there. You can get there, and then you see what happens. It keeps you drawn into like what is gonna happen, because there's random events that happen, and if you go and you rest for like 72 hours and come back, random events spawn when you teleport to these places that you've already been, or when you go up to a new place, there will be new enemies and new things that happen with people, and it's mostly just combat. It's mostly just people trying to rob you or whatever, kill you, or mutants trying to kill you, or one of the enemies that I mentioned earlier, the Enclave soldiers. I forgot to mention them. So they're soldiers and they have like the best armor, but it's like it weighs a lot, so you gotta kind of like, and it lowers your agility too, so you got to balance it out. Like, what am I looking for? So I got to the end of this game and I realized like my stats are all maxed out, so I'm just gonna wear like clothing that like kind of gives me a little bit of a boost instead of like the armor that I used to always go for, but it like lowered my agility and stuff. It's like I don't need that protection anymore because my character is like super powerful. So it's fun to get to that point. The events in the game are really nice. When you go to places, it feels like the events just kind of happen automatically, spontaneously, and randomly. So there is some jank to it, but it's enduring and I enjoy it. And then the communication with the people, the vocal skills, the speech, the dialogue, the characters in the Wasteland it's such a my vibe type of game. It's like, I love that style of game where it's a Wasteland, Fallout experience, post-nuclear, like trying to rebuild stuff, but everything's radiated, everything's like you're just scavenging out there, and like you know that these people are just gonna try to rob you and kill you, so it's fun to just go out there and not... Somehow, on this game, I ended up with like being a messiah or like the greatest good, but I swear I was just killing pretty much everything. I mean, I was talking to people to try to push the quest lines and I ended up doing the right things, but it's like, I was just playing, I don't know, I guess how I would in real life, even though I feel like I would be a bad guy in real life, like an anti-hero. But I want to talk about, lastly, I wanted to mention the audio. I can't play the audio, so I just had the radio off, so maybe there was like some background music and stuff when I was recording it, but it was just kind of like the game ambiance music. But the audio, once you unlock the radio channel, Three Dog, when you get that channel, I just keep it on all the time. It's got old music, beautiful music, amazing licensed copyright music, but it's a station that I have on my YouTube Music. Like, I play that regularly when I'm at work because it just adds to that vibe of the game. It complements it so well. I can't say enough or gush enough about the audio and that music, that radio channel once you get it unlocked. It's so the vibe. It's so Fallout 3. And if you go around and you don't have that on it, I feel like you're really missing out on something. You're really missing out on an opportunity to get to know some of the older music and get to really vibe out with what they were going for with this game, where it was like an alternate reality where they pursued something else, nuclear power and nuclear weapons and didn't question it. So instead of using like a light that's like an LED, they would use like a nuclear light, like powered by nuclear. And it's really nice to see that and to experience the music and experience the Wasteland. And I love this game and I will play it regularly in intervals, maybe every other year. I'll go through and just kind of fire it up and do another run through. But I love Fallout 3, one of my most played games ever. Thanks for tuning in.